Now we're on to Craig. Craig's top 5 list. Boom.
All right, so
getting the soundboard.
I just did something not really random, but I was gonna do top 5 best wins, but I decided to do top 5 worst losses in week 1.
Ooh, you know what? I like that. All right, let's go.
Pretty much all of these teams are playoff teams from last year.
Yeah.
I had another team in there that wasn't a playoff team, but because of that win last night, I had to knock them out. So my number 5, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings last year were 11-0 in games decided by one score during the regular season. So this is a game that they usually win, or at least based off of last year, they win. And they were at home, kind of the way they ended the season last year, and they lost. Kirk Cousins, obviously, there's no Dalvin Cook in there anymore. There's no Adam Thielen, but I think Jordan Addison is a better receiver at this point in his career than Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen clearly is older. They relying on Alexander Madison to carry the load. The Vikings they had their opportunities, but what I think really did them in or really didn't hurt or help their chances was towards the end of the first half. They were at like the 20-yard line, no timeouts, but they were driving and they could at least got 3 and possibly went up at the end of the half 13-10. But instead they threw a pick, and instead of being up 3, the game is tied. And then the second half, the Vikings still couldn't score. I mean, the Bucs defense is still good, but I didn't really believe in Baker Mayfield, but he actually played a really decent, solid game. He didn't have any turnovers, which is pretty much what all you can ask for at this point in his career. Just not turn the ball over, just get the ball to his top receivers. So that's what he did. Justin Jefferson had a phenomenal game, but it just wasn't enough, man. The turnovers, I think, Kirk Cousins also had a fumble in there as well, so a sack fumble. So another tough way that they ended the season off with a loss at home, and they start the season off with a loss home. My number 4 team, I went Seattle. They were up higher, but some other stuff happened. So Seattle just really disappointed me. Everybody was on the Seahawks. Geno Smith. After last year, I had them with like 3 or 4 wins, and they surprised majority of the people. Maybe if you were a Seattle fan, you really were into them and you thought they were going to go to the playoffs. Towards the middle of the season, I started to come around a little bit and like, okay, the Seahawks might make the playoffs, and then they ended up making the playoffs. But starting out this season, when you have a draft like when they draft offensive players like Smith and Jigba and Kara, but is that how you say his last name? Zach Kara, whatever his name is.
Yeah, the running back.
Running back, and you already have Kenneth Walker, you already have DK, you already have, Tyler Lockett. It's just inexcusable to only put up 13 points. And this also, especially against a Rams team who struggled last year, couldn't really put up points. They don't even have Cooper Kupp. And they were able to still throw the ball to guys named Tutu and Puka or whatever.
Crazy.
And it's just like, who are these guys compared to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? And it just goes to show you that any given Sunday, man, and Geno Smith, I think he won the comeback player of the year last year, and he just looked like he had 112 passing yards. I mean, that's unacceptable at home. It's a long season, but man, that's a tough way to start.
He's pretty. Oh my God! When Aaron Donald was running to him full speed.
I mean, and also,
oh my God!
Going into the half, they had an opportunity to go up 16 to 7, and the kick missed there. They missed the field goal. So who knows? I mean, maybe that could have been some extra momentum going to the second half, but they didn't get it, and they ended up getting destroyed in the second half by 23-0. My number 3 team, I had them at 2, but had to move them down a little bit, and that's the Bengals. I really wanted to put them at 2, but I had to move them down to 3 just because.
I know you got it number 1.
It was the weather played a big part in this game. Both quarterbacks struggled, but also I'm giving the Bengals a little bit of a pass, especially for Joe Burrow, just because he was out for pretty much all of the training camp and the preseason games.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a big believer in preseason, but it just goes to show you that there is something to it. And he just wasn't there. He wasn't the same quarterback. He had a career low 82 yards passing. T. Higgins didn't even get a catch. He had like 9
that was crazy.
Catch. I mean, for fantasy football purposes, I was pissed. But there's always next week. Hopefully the weather is
Chase. Nothing.
Nobody did anything. It's going to be a tough game next week. They got another divisional game against the Ravens. But just 3 points. And you mentioned it earlier how his struggles against the Browns. He's 1-5 against the Browns. I think in 6 games, I think he has 8 turnovers total. So it's just as good as he is against the Chiefs, he's just the opposite against the Browns for some odd reason. And it continued again this season. My number 2 team, I thought about putting him at 1, but I put him at 2, and that's the Jets. I mean, that's the Bills. The Bills.
Okay, I know you got number 1.
The Bills. How Josh Allen he's a turnover machine. He had 4 turnovers.
I don't know what he was doing on some of that stuff, man.
He's trying to. I know they had a blow up last year in the playoffs between him and Diggs, and it's just like he's trying to force feed Diggs at times. He's trying to do too much. He's taking a lot of hits. He kind of reminds me of Cam Newton taking a lot of hits.
Man.
Where Cam Newton was a strong guy. He took a lot of hits, and eventually his career kind of suffered. So I know that Josh Allen's going to get a lot of touchdowns. He's also going to throw a lot of picks. I mean, this is career high 3 picks, tied his career high, I believe, 3 picks. So, and he threw them all to the same person. Like that guy.
Somebody say he's gonna make the Pro Bowl.
Whitehead has got his bonus already in the first week. He don't even. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. Yeah, he's at this point. If he continues to play like this, he's going to the Pro Bowl. 3 picks in 1 game, and and then you look at how there's no Aaron Rodgers, and you still end up losing. It's like the best player, or the best player on the Jets team was Josh Allen.
That's crazy.
From the ball, and it's unacceptable.
One of those things. Did you see when he ran and he tried to hurdle?
I don't know what goes through that man's mind. He knows he's just doing like doing too much, and he just still goes out there and he tries it. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he needs to just try to rely on his team a little bit more.
Yeah,
not trying to rely on Diggs as much. He has some other good options out there. Cook and
Gabe Davis, Cook,
and Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Knox.
Dalton Knox, yeah. So he has pieces. Damian Harris just came over.
Yeah.
So and to lose to a backup in Zach Wilson, who struggled last year, to me, I know he lost to him last year, but I mean, come on, man, not again. Especially you want to be a Super Bowl team and have teams take you or have people take you seriously. Number 1 is the Giants. I mean, there's no way in 2023 with the offense getting all these benefits and everything like that, and he's people talking about they wanted to sign what's the dude's name? The quarterback. What's the quarterback's name?
Daniel Jones.
Stupid name.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. They wanted to sign him. He got signed. Blah blah blah. They
franchise tagged him and signed Saquon.
Yeah, they got Saquon there, so they bringing everybody back. And I mean, I knew the offensive line was shaky, but I mean, you can't even score at all. He scored 0 points at home, and in the home opener on national TV, and you give up 40. It's just unacceptable. This is why I didn't have the Giants as a playoff team coming in this year.
Me neither.
I didn't believe in them. And the thing about it is that the Cowboys offense didn't even play that well.
Nope.
He didn't throw a pick, but he didn't have a whole bunch of yards. There wasn't a lot of CeeDee Lamb had 4 catches.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard, he did his thing a little bit, but I mean, it just wasn't like a lot of looking at the score, I kind of think if I didn't see anything else, I would have thought that Dak threw for 300 yards and like 3 touchdowns or something like that. But it was just the defense, man. And the defense just got after him. And in 2023, you can't score any points, not even a field goal. And they had a field goal opportunity and they missed it. So I don't know what else to say, man. But that was a disappointing end to that game. At halftime, I just cut it off at that point. So,
yeah, I was kind of like, come on, man. This is Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, and usually on paper, it looks good, and it just wasn't that. So hopefully they got a chance to redeem themselves. They got the Cardinals, but I don't know, man. At this point,